everyone, welcome to another episode of Kwentong GK. I'm your host, Donna Reyes. Tonight is the last Thursday night of the month, and so we have our monthly Kumustahan and Kwentuhan here on Kwentong GK. So beginning this year, we actually started our programs or episodes by giving you some updates on what's going on with GKUSA and the programs and the projects that we support. And so we're going to go ahead and start with that. So here, let me share my screen with you. And I want to make sure that, lovely, can you give me a thumbs up if you see my screen? Because I can't monitor right now. Yeah? All right. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to start with this great news. All right. So we have our Bayani Challenge 2022, Building Resilient Communities, that is happening on April 9th to June 12th. So if you have not registered yet, please go ahead and register at gk1world.com/BC2022. Yeah, and so I really wish that I'm in the Philippines. I have not participated in a Bayani challenge, so that is going to be, it is in my bucket list, and and I hope that I will be able to join. Well, it's not too late. April 9th to June 12th, I might just be able to squeeze something in. So especially if you're planning to go home, visit the Philippines and your families in the Philippines, make sure that you have this in your itinerary, all right? Building Resilient Communities, Bayani Challenge 2022, April 9th to June 12th. Register at gk1world.com/BC2022. All right. Also, we want to give you an update on our relief efforts, right? For for those who were affected and greatly impacted by Typhoon Odette. But before we give you the numbers, we're going to be sharing with you the amount of money we have remitted so far, right? Because the rehabilitation and all of that work of Gawad Kalinga in those affected communities continues, right, to this day. So we will be sharing with you some numbers. But before we do that, I wanted to share this latest video from our Gawad Kalinga Executive Director, Dan Bercasio, right? And here's his latest biyahe ni Dan. And he's actually at the Dinagat Islands, right? This was where he filmed this video. Let me just make sure that I share with sound. I always forget to do that. All right. Okay, here we go.
Nandito kami ngayon sa Libho, Dinagat Province, kung saan bibisitahin natin ang isang isla na nasalanta ng Bagyong Odette. Magundag! Actually, first time ko dito sa Dinagat Province. Matagal ko nang pinangarap na mapuntahan ang probinsyang ito. Nagkaroon kami ng pagkakataon na mabisita ang 5 bayan at makipagkwentuhan sa ating mga kababayan, lalong-lalo na sa kanilang naranasan sa Typhoon Odette at yung kanilang mga pangarap at mga adhikain. Nagkaroon din tayo ng pagkakataon na makahalubilo ang mga iba't ibang local government units at nagkaroon din tayo ng mahaba pero mabungang talakayan with Governor Kaka Bagaw. Maiksi man yung panahon, subalit ako ay namangha sa kanilang determinasyon na bumangon at malampasan itong pagsubok hindi lang ng Odette pati na rin ng pandemya. Patuloy po tayo na tumutulong sa iba't ibang mga probinsya na naapektuhan ng Typhoon Odette. Ang Palawan, Bohol, Negros Oriental, Negros Occidental, Cebu, Southern Leyte, Surigao del Norte at Dinagat Province. Kaya po bilang mga Pilipino, pagpatuloy natin na ipadama sa ating mga kababayan na hindi natin sila iniiwan kahit sa mga simple at maliliit na pamamaraan. Marahil ang Pilipinas ay nahati sa mahigit na 7,000 isla. Sana magkaroon din tayo ng mahigit na 7,000 dahilan para tulungan natin ang isa't isa at huwag natin iwan ang ating mga kababayan. Maraming salamat po at walang iwan.
All right, so that has been Dan Bercasio, our Gawad Kalinga Executive Director. So for those of you who don't understand Tagalog, some of our non-Filipino friends or Filipino friends, but who may not, who may have been born here and don't speak Tagalog anymore. Some of the things he said there in Tagalog were how he was just amazed by the determination of the Filipino, of the people in that place that he visited, and that how they are, they're so resilient, right? In really, trying to get back on their feet and get back to their as normal life as possible, because they were not only affected by the typhoon, but they were still reeling from the effects of the pandemic, like lack of losing their jobs, not having enough to eat and all of that, right? And so Dan said that there are over 7,100 islands in the Philippines, and he said that he hopes that we find more than 7,100 reasons to help. All right. So that has been, the latest report from or latest video from Dan Bercasio. We also wanted to share with you how much money we have sent and how much help we have sent to the Philippines. We have remitted a total of $165,458.21. Very exact amount, right? And this number is from our very own Miss Mayor Amante. So this is official number as of today. All right. We have sent out of that over $165,458. We have part of that is $45,000 in relief packs, and relief packs include food, water, and mats, right? And $102,845.69 were actually for rehabilitation, for the repair and replacement of roofs, all right? And finally, $17,612.52 were actually allotted for feeding of children whose parents do not have any means of livelihood, all right? So that's a total of, again, $165,458.21, everything accounted for, right? We are expecting, or we're estimating to remit or send to the Philippines another $50,000. And we will keep you posted on that as soon as we have the report and we have the numbers, right? So moving on, we want to share with you, actually still on the same topic, I wanted to share with you where you can actually make your donations, right? It's right here on our GKUSA's website. And you will see Typhoon Odette right here, Gifts of Hope, and you can choose whatever donation amount you might want to. Not sure I'm sharing that. Okay, now I'm sharing it. Sorry about that. So this is all about Typhoon Odette. This is a page on our website, gk-usa.org. And so you give the gifts of hope, right? To help vulnerable families weather the storm and rebuild their lives, all right? So far, we're trying to raise $50,000 and we're at 21,883 and 34 cents, right? We're not halfway there yet. So please help us help our fellow Filipinos, get back on their feet, right? And try to, to really get back to as normal life as possible, right? Whatever normal means now after the pandemic, or as we try to get out of this pandemic. Donation amount can be as little as $15, right? Or you can, if you can even put in your own amount, whatever is comfortable for you, right? I always say the greatest measurement of wealth is how much you can comfortably give, right? So that is the measurement. You may be, like a very successful entrepreneur, or maybe an executive in a corporate world, or you may be, you may be a nurse, a CNA, a caregiver, or whatever it is that you do. But the true measurement of wealth is really how much we can comfortably give, right? So I also wanted to share with you our campaign for monthly donations, right? So there we go. Also on our GK USA's Facebook page, website, you can sign up to put in your monthly donation, right? Your monthly gift helps, right? So it says right here, when every second counts for the poor families in need, your monthly gift is their ready lifeline. Monthly donors provide food, water, relief, empowerment, and protection to the most vulnerable families when they need it the most. So again, you can sign up for whatever amount that is comfortable for you, that you can, that you can commit to give monthly, right? For as little as $15 or $5,000, right? Whatever it is that you're comfortable with. What else do we have here? All right. Okay, so that is it for our updates for this month. Please continue to follow us on, if you're following us on Facebook, GK USA or Gawad Kalinga USA on Facebook, you will find more updates that you might be interested in. All right. Also visit our website, gk-usa.org. Now, without further ado, I am very excited to introduce to you our special guest this evening, Miss Allyson Nepomuceno. Hi, Allyson.
Hello.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you on our program, Allyson. As soon as the Collegiate Summit, which you led, concluded back in February 19th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Right? I was so amazed by your energy, your enthusiasm, and just just how well you organized that event. Inviting different college students, right? I mean, students from different universities and countries, as well as also, of course, we had Gawad Kalinga USA representatives there in that event. So can you tell us a little bit more about what happened in that event and all of that?
Yes, of course. So for those that do not know, GK USA collaborated with the Filipino Student Association here at the University of Central Florida. Basically, the Filipino Student Association here, there are many all across the United States, and these are just organizations that help connect students that want to learn more about the Filipino culture, are Filipino, and just don't feel like they know that much about their culture or identity, and just those that are just like they like Filipino food and they just want to learn more. So basically, we invited the other Filipino organizations within Florida, as well as other Asian-based organizations, and they had student-led workshops. We also had them be on our student panel, and then we also had a lot of like keynote speakers have like interactive activities with all of the attendees. Our attendance was about around 100 to 90 people, which was a lot more than we did expect. We were initially projecting to around like 60, and we're pleasantly surprised with how much enthusiasm people brought to the table and how interested and engaged students were to learn more about GK and get really hands-on experience and talk to the people that have worked on ground. So basically with our program, we had an entire session where it was two speakers, so Noel Martin Rubio, and then we also had Francis Miranda, then we also had Dr. Jose Rafinan open up, and then Maricel. So they all spoke a little bit about GK, their experiences, and then we had the guest speakers talk a little bit about just things that are like more personal to them and then connect it back to GK. So for Francis's, for example, he did an informative, what's it called, improv comedy workshop, and connected it to how with doing improv comedy, what you're supposed to be is very open and always say yes. And basically his overarching theme was always being open to opportunities and saying yes, and more so going with the flow with things and not closing yourself off to opportunities, because in turn that will close you off to people and new experiences that you wouldn't have imagined if you were like closed-minded. So he related that back to GK and how we should say yes to giving and helping out those in need. And then later we like broke for lunch, and then we had 6 different workshops led by the University of Central Florida, their FSA, as well as NAPA, which is the National Asian Women's Pacific Forum. And that is like a socio-political organization for Asian American women. And then we also had Malayan Movement, that's a grassroots movement organization. And then we also had FASU, which is a Florida Asian American Student Union, and that is like the overarching organization that oversees a lot of like the interworkings and operations of all the Asian-based organizations within Florida. And then we had Click Me, and then one by GK as well. So they're all like very interactive. Everyone rotated through a few throughout the night. And then we also had a student panel where they could interact with all the people that spoke, or just other students that we had that were student leaders within their respective school or within their respective organization / community. So people got to ask questions for how they got involved into GK, how they can start, and like what their favorite part about working with this organization was.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot to unpack right there, right? I mean, those are different organizations that are really representing also, varied causes, right? Advocacies, right? But I think the common denominator is that wanting to make a difference and and to reach out to those people or communities who are in need, right? And so how did you start? What was the beginning of your, I guess, journey into, being involved in the community, or being a student leader? I see that you're in your 3rd year studying medical sciences, preparing to be a doctor, I suppose, right?
Yes.
But were you always interested in was it student leadership that got you interested into this, or was it about, wanting to really promote your Filipino heritage, or is it a little bit of both?
I think a little bit about both. So in high school, I did take on a few leadership roles, but they didn't really pertain to anything that I was like particularly interested in. It was like mostly for like college resumes, but then I did make a promise to myself that after high school, when I go into college, and like to help with my professional development as well as like personal development, that I would take on extracurriculars that would actually benefit me and would be interesting, like something that would actually be passionate about rather than just putting on paper. So sometime in high school, I did get involved in the Filipino community. Thankfully, yeah, I know it was a little bit late, but sooner than later, because where I grew up, there wasn't that many Filipino people or Asian people for that matter. But we did have a Filipino center in Tampa, and that's when I met the people in GK Tampa. We had like a youth advisory board led by Abby Hamilton, and she was really the one that really tried to bring us out into the community. So we had small events with the youth there, ranging from around like 12 to like 18, 17 years old. And they would have like GK speakers come out to talk about how we could help them. And then they also took us and sponsored us to go to the GK summit that was hosted in Tampa. So that was the first time that I ever went to like an official GK event, and it was like the national one with all the other states and their representatives, and we were the only young people there. So that was in or that wasn't in high school, but that was I think in like my freshman year of college.
Must have been
So I didn't.
2019, right? When that
Yes. So
I
I
was
was just.
there.
Yeah, I was a freshman in college, so I didn't really have that much leadership experience, but I definitely did want to get more involved. I just didn't have the resources or connections, just because it was very early on in my college career. I was involved in FSA, but I wasn't an officer or anything, so it's easy for anyone that's not in a position of power to just like brush it off and just think that like somebody else will do it. So eventually time has passed. Fast forward, my parents actually were at the Burritos house, Rocky and Emma Burritos house, and they're in charge of GK Tampa. It wasn't a GK event, but my parents were there for like a rosary or like a prayer night, and then they ended up running into the Rafinans. And my school has always been involved with GK, but not more so with the advocacy portion of it, and more so like raising awareness. We would just collect money and then just donate it, and that would really be the extent of our involvement, which I felt like was kind of bad, because I did know a lot of people that were involved in GK and the connections were there. It was just the effort was lacking, in like the initiative to really form a relationship between the older generation and the younger generation was just not there. So they did contact my parents, and my parents told them that by this time now I was already on the board. So I did have a leadership position, and I did have the power to create change. And they did contact me, and we set up a meeting. I went over and I had like a meal with them, and we talked over how could we bridge the communities together, because they were like, we're getting old. I know that's very like brutal to say, but it's true. We need to like train the next generation of people that would be interested in taking our place, and just like getting people involved so that our legacy, so that we have a legacy, and then all the work that we put in now doesn't just go to waste. So I remembered when I went back to the summit, that was like 2019 at this
Mhm.
point. And I was like, oh, we should have one, but like cater it towards college students. And they're like, that's really interesting. I've like literally never thought of that. But it was more so because they haven't had a college student wanting to initiate and actually be on the production side of it,
Mhm.
as like a collaboration with them. So we took it upon ourselves, even though we've literally never done anything like that within our programming, to do so. And I'm very grateful that my officer board backed me up on that, because they very well could have said, you're crazy. How are we
Mhm.
even going to pull this off? But that's how we ended up having the summit, and that's how my relationship with GK has evolved over the years. So it was very minimal. I like knew that it involved helping those overseas. And then I was like, you guys build houses, and that was pretty much all I knew. And then I went to the summit, and um, I was like, oh, we should have like um, a youth group. But then the feeling just passed, because what
Mhm.
was I gonna do? I was like, I'm a freshman, whatever. And then they found me again, and I was like, it must be fate, or something, like the stars
Or an
aligned and
answered
telling me.
prayer. You
Yes.
really are an answered prayer, because for the longest time we have been having this discussion amongst the board of directors of Gawad Kalinga USA, and really everyone in the organization. Just the challenge of how, like, how do we bridge the gap, so to speak, between the next generation films and and the first generation films, right? And how, obviously, for people like myself, like your parents, who were born and raised in the Philippines, our love for country is it that maybe means something else for Filipinos who were born and raised here, right? So there are films, second generation films or next generation films, Americans of Filipino blood. Does that make sense? So it's a totally different culture. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. First of all, I do know Abby Hamilton. I know she's now Dr. Abby Hamilton. So
Oh, yes.
yeah, so I met her, and actually I had dinner with her maybe a couple years ago, even after the summit. The summit that you're talking about was
Yes.
October, I think, 2019. And then I met her again, had a nice, dinner with her. Okay, did I freeze or did Allison freeze? Uh-oh. I hope it's not my. Are you still there? Okay. All right. So I think Alice might have lost internet connection. I hope. Yeah. Okay. All right. So what I was saying, and Allison will come back to us soon. I'm sure she will be fixing her internet connection. But I'm just going to go ahead with my stories. I did meet Dr. Abby Hamilton, and she has so many things to say about. Okay, are you still okay? Am I still here? Do you guys still see me? Uh-huh. Yes? No? All right. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm still on. I think I might have lost Allison. Sorry about that. So yeah, so I just wanted to say, Abby, Dr. Abby Hamilton, thank you for leading the next generation, next generation of films, and planting the seeds, and planting the seeds in their heart, and that calling in their hearts to, to give back to the country of their parents' birth, right? So I think I've got Allison back. Are you there? Are you still connecting maybe? Yep. I think her audio is still connecting. All right.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello. Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but no video just yet. Okay, there we go. Awesome. Okay, cool.
Sorry about that.
Now you're sideways. Oh, there we go. Awesome. I was just telling our friends, that Abby did a great job, planting that seeds of our calling, right, in the young people's hearts to give back to the country of their parents' birth. So thank you for that. So yeah, this issue, or this challenge of how are we going to bridge the gap, or how is the first generation films going to pass the baton to the next generation of films, is actually a challenge, not only for GKUSA, but for other Filipino organizations as well. And so that's why I say, Allison, you are an answered prayer. We've been waiting for you for so long. And so we're so happy that out of that collegiate summit, we found you, and you are actually offered, coerced, how do you want to call it, to be the GKUSA's first, right, chairperson, the next gen GKUSA Council, right? So how did that happen? Tell us.
So during one of our meetings, so I'm from Tampa, so some of the meetings were on Zoom, some of them I would be able to go home. So one of the ones I went home, Dr. Rafinon took me aside and he was like, we need to make a plan of how we're going to sustain this effort, because I don't want you to just have one event and then people will be like, that was cool. And then they'll think about it for a week and then they'll just forget about it, because that's not the point of us working so hard to put on this entire programming. It's to sustain this. And he said that I will be the nucleus and I'll control the rest, and that this is like the seed that we'll plant so that generations can build upon it, which was a lot of pressure. And he was like, you're going to be the next chairman. I was like, what? You're kidding, right? And then he's like, no. And he's like, I'll help you with the rest. You just need to know that you're going to be the next person, and you can start looking for people that are interested, which thankfully enough, a lot of people that have attended, I've reached out to. Some even reached out to me like right after the summit ended while we were still there and said, how do I get involved? Like, what are the next steps that we can take? Because at the end, I did announce that we're going to have a council and that I was going to be the next chairman. So if you did want to be involved after this and were moved or inspired at all, that you can contact me. And some have contacted me through social media, and then some are on my officer board right now for FSA and have already told me, like, even when we were planning the event and I was like telling them like, oh, after this, like maybe we can have more, because like I'll be the chairman, I don't know. But like the possibilities are endless now, guys. Like we have all the support from a bunch of people, and they're all like really rooting for us to succeed. So if you guys want to join me, you can. And everyone's like, yeah, I'll join. I had like never felt so like pumped up to do like philanthropy work, which is like also weird for like people like college students like me, because you don't really think about it that way unless like that's more so like in your major. We just have a lot of like a diverse group of majors and people pursuing like different careers, but even then we've all been like our path has all led us back to GK, which is really, really cool.
That's awesome. So you felt a bit pressure. What scared you about it? You said you felt a little bit pressured. Did you fear anything at all, or were you just what was some of the hesitation?
For me, I think it was, I've never had like a national position. Like this is probably the highest position, president of like a university club. And I've never been in charge of such a large scale operation. Obviously I've had like, leading up to this point, I've had other leadership positions in college, but never something to where it reaches other continents and is like an international operation. I felt a little bit scared because I didn't even have the confidence in myself to take on that role, but so many other people believed in me and like knew that I would be the one that would fill the shoes. So it definitely felt a lot better knowing that more people were more confident than I was, rather than being like, oh, I don't know about her, questionable. And also a lot of my board had a lot of questions that I didn't have answers to. So there's a lot of unknowns, but that's what also makes the experience worthwhile, because I'm able to create and expand upon stuff that hasn't been done, because there is no like structure for the Next Gen Council. I have been like researching a lot about how GK USA functions, how your guys' operations work, as well as how you collaborate overseas and such. But for targeting a youth audience, it hasn't been done before, and it's really, it was really scary at first to think of how I would market that, but we have done it once, and since that proved to be successful, we can do it again.
Yeah, I mean, I saw you shared the at our last, what was that, area directors meeting last Sunday. You shared some of your plans, including the organizational structure that you're planning to adapt. And I was just impressed. I'm telling you. I was telling myself, I was like, this is awesome. Like it's really, it's great. I think you're off a good start. I mean, obviously, you know, how you structure an organization really, would really affect, right, the processes and how you're going to do things and how you're going to work together as a team. So just look at the organizational structure that you put together, I think that's a great start. And, I was just really impressed again, like how you organize that collegiate summit and, and working with, not just students, but, professionals and, people from different backgrounds. So, that can be very overwhelming and intimidating. But even just how you led the meetings, and all of that, it's very impressive. For me, you have have a fan right here. I'm pretty sure, people who are watching this as well, would know exactly what I'm talking about. Speaking of people who are watching tonight, let me just, people are greeting you, and let's give them a shout out from Leslie Tequia. Hi, everyone. Leslie from Chicago. Hi, Les. Thank you for joining us almost every week. Not every week, every month now, on the Quentin GK. But even we used to have this every week, and she would be one of our consistent, audience here. Tito Jun Rafinan, or Dr. Jose Rafinan, she said, hi, all, congratulations, Tito Jun. So, see, you already have congratulations messages right here, right? Dulce Rivera, hi, GK, watching from Tampa. And then Tito Jun also said more power to Allyson and Next Generation FSA from Malin from Malejo. Our very own smart Allyson, so grown up now. Bravo, Ali. And then from Tito June, wow. Thanks, Alex, for watching. I guess Alex is watching as well. All right. And then Allyson GK FSA Youth, dream come true, connecting to all generations, truly an inspiration. GK National will fully support. That is so true. So, I hope you will never feel alone, in this journey, because you're not, right? We're all at some, in some ways, trying to figure out things as well. We don't know everything, right? Just because we're older doesn't mean that we got everything figured out. So that's not necessarily newsflash, right? I think you already know that. And, people know that. I think what's important is that we stumble forward, right? We can't, if we waited for the time for us to have answers to everything, we can never move anything, right? We can never get anything done. So I, for one, look forward to working with you, Allyson. I'm pretty sure I will learn so much from you, and I hope that you learn from the rest of us as well. But, on behalf of GK USA and the board of directors, we welcome you, and we're so excited that we now have a chairperson for GK Next Gen, right? Or Next Gen GK USA Council. All right, more from Jason Medinilla. Wow, that's my president. Is he a student from your organization, from FSA?
Yes, that is our network representative.
Awesome. Hi, Jason, and I hope to meet you guys in person as well very soon. From Nonali, Pangaibat, so proud Tita Lisa here. All right. So I think I also shared that you had plans of studying abroad at some point. Yeah. Okay, and when is this going to be?
I will be leaving on May 27th, and then I'll be coming back on June 25th. So about a month.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll be going to Barcelona.
Oh, awesome. May 27th? Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm going to Seville, Spain on May 9th.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then going to Portugal. Like 4 days. I think we have 4 days in Spain and 4 days in Portugal. So we're going to miss each other. Not that we're going to be in the same city anyway, right? But I'm so excited. Are you excited? Is this your first time to go to Spain?
Yes. This is my first time in Europe, actually. I was supposed to go like during the COVID year for a wedding, but obviously that got canceled. Then it got rescheduled and then got canceled again. So I'm really excited. This is my first time traveling by myself to I go to domestically, but internationally, this is the first time that I've gone.
This is the first time. Are your parents nervous?
I don't think so. They're like, oh, she's out of the house. It's okay.
No, you will always be their baby, I'm pretty sure. But is this part of your college curriculum, like in your biomedical sciences course, or is this a totally different thing?
Yes. So usually they don't really have any STEM courses for study abroad just because it is hard to have the credits be equivalent. So this is like the first time they ever had like a biomed or like health sciences, like a biology based class. So I will be taking Introduction to Human Diseases, and we're going to be studying how it is across like with it. We're going to be comparing it between Europe and the US, and then
Ah,
also going to like different health clinics and stuff, and then like research facilities and like visiting those and how like that compares to the US as well.
that is exciting. And hopefully you learn
Mhm.
something there too that you can probably apply or
Mhm.
or use with, with our work in Gawad Kalinga on the health part of it, right?
Mhm.
All right. Well, sorry, you were going to say something.
Oh, no, no.
I was just going to ask, have you had a chance to visit the Philippines at all?
Yes, I have. I did for like my graduation trip, but that was back in 2019, I believe. And it was really, really nice. And we like visited both like where my mom was from and then where my dad was from because the last time I was there, I think it was like elementary school and I don't really remember it at all, to be
Where
fair.
are they
So
from? What provinces or what
my
the
mom
Philippines?
is from Camarines Norte and then my dad is from Manila.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering about your last name because I'm from Pampanga and we have some
Mm.
Nepomucenos in Pampanga, but
Mm.
can be from anywhere in the Philippines. It's that, it's kind of like Reyes, right? Reyes is like,
Mhm.
the Philippines. So yeah, all right. Well, I was just curious. Have you had a chance to visit a GK village at all?
No, but I've heard so much and I've seen so many pictures and videos. Um, I like really want to do like hands-on on ground work,
Yeah.
which yes, it is nice to like all of like the advocacy part and like promoting and holding these events to raise awareness, but it doesn't beat like being there in person, which I really miss, but obviously like a lot of COVID restrictions still. But when time permits and like the stars align, one day
Yeah.
I'll be there for sure.
Well, they do have the Bayani Challenge every year. And this year, I don't know if you caught this when I was sharing, it's going to be on April 9 to June 12th. So it's going to be an ongoing thing. And yeah, that's where they build homes and you really get to,
Mhm.
you know, to, to spend time with, with the people from the villages, volunteers, people
Mhm.
work on ground, etc. Like I know what I'm talking about because I have not gone to challenge myself. So hopefully someday, maybe next year, you and I can go together, right? When that,
Yes, yes.
yeah. So okay, so I asked you earlier if there, if there was anything that scared you about, about taking the helm of being the first chairperson of
Mhm.
Next Gen GKUSA Council. So now I wanted to ask you, what inspired you? What inspired you to, obviously, it's a challenge. It looks like something that, just getting
Mhm.
the vibe here that you're one who wouldn't back out of a challenge. But was there anything about, what is it about Gawad Kalina's work that inspired you to expand, I guess, your involvement, in addition to already like organizing that collegiate summit, which really provided a great opportunity for GKUSA to spread awareness about our campaign.
Yeah, so basically, from all of the organizations I've worked with in the past that do help with service work, not necessarily like poverty based or like overseas, but just in general, um, they wouldn't target the problem of like poverty or just like any social issue that they we're advocating for as like a multifaceted problem, which GK does. And after going to the summit, I actually like went to the website to see like all their different programs, because during the presentation during the summit, I like heard about seed, I heard about the kitchen, I heard about the house building, and I was like, wow, some places only do like one of those things. And like, though that does help, there are other underlying issues that do contribute to other things leading to like other problems. So it was a lot more all encompassing, and I had a lot of things I was like really interested in, which we did talk about in the sorry, in the area directors meeting, which I never even thought of that their CPUG program. So for those that do not know, I played soccer like all my life. I don't really play anymore, but I did have experience with coaching little kids from the age of like 6 to 12 and 13. And that was really fun. And I really do miss it. And I never even thought of that as a way of sports to bring like together communities. I did understand that that was like the point of the Olympics, but not to the same extent of like helping uplift people in impoverished lands, and helping people get out of poverty for those that do get scholarships. Because for my understanding, there are a few that did get like a student visa now so that they can work or they can study here, which is honestly amazing. And I didn't even think of that as an idea. So all the praise to whoever did that, because especially as someone that was a student athlete, I did see a lot of like my fellow teammates struggling in school, and some of them playing in sports is like the only way that they're going to get in school. And that may be the same case for those people in those communities. And then also with being inspired to really take on this role, especially with my presidency, there was a lot of things that I wanted to expand upon. There's a lot of things I wanted to change and bring new to the table that in past years, sometimes it wouldn't be allowed, or like the presidents would be like, this is how it was, so it'll always be like this. And I'm like very much the type of person to be like, why not? Why not? We could do better. Why not improve? So I would always tell my friends that were like encouraging me to pursue presidency when I was in FSA, to be like the change that you want to see in the world. So that goes back to like when I was in freshman year and I was like, oh, somebody else will do it. But now after I've gained a lot more leadership experience, I've like talked to a lot more people and I've had more mentors. You just have to be like more proactive with like your efforts. And in taking on this role, like I saw how many people took it upon themselves, especially the speakers during the summit in Tampa. And they didn't have any other connections. So it's not like I had an excuse. I had all the resources, the entire network was at my disposal. It was just my own desire and like passion and drive to pursue it. So that is what led me to really like take on this role head on.
You just blow my mind. That's exactly what we need, you know, like from you and the group that the team that you're putting together. We do need some new ideas, right? To do our work, right? So at some point, well, we're like your titos and titas said, right? We're getting old and our ideas need some refreshing, right? And that's exactly what you bring to the table as well. And now that you mentioned, as soccer and CPAC, I'm pretty sure our friend Herb Minikoffer and Kuya Bucci and Pelido, who are staunch supporter of that particular program of Gawad Kalinga, are very happy to know that, because so many. I didn't know much about CPAC either until I think it was Being Importante and also the Bucci and Pelido on this Quantum GK live. And so apparently they not only secure scholarships for the students, they provide equipments, they provide gears, right? And I remember her sharing in a private conversation. I have not had her on this program yet, but he shared how it just really broke his heart how like these two brothers who were both playing would take turns wearing, shoes, right? And then I think he even said that one of them like wore half and then the other one wore the other.
Mm,
Oh my goodness, right? And so that's just that's not right, right? I mean, that's just really heartbreaking for young, for young kids to go through something like that. It should be, they should be free and free to play and be active and all of that without having to worry about any of those things. So that is really exciting that you're into that as well. What
yes.
can you not do? My goodness. From Maricel Villanueva, our own, very own executive director of GKUSA, she says, watching from the car, Allyson, congratulations. You are a godsend to GKUSA. See, I told you you're an answered prayer. And then from Lynn Allen Nepomuceno, my beautiful Ally with a big heart. Right. So is that your
Mm,
mom? Lynn
yes.
Allen Nepomuceno. Hi, tita or ate. Baka parang, I think you can be my daughter, I think, because I'm turning 50 this year. So maybe ate or just Lynn. I don't know for sure. But yes, you should really be proud. I'm sure you are, like you said, of your daughter. She's doing great things. And, I can't wait for, what the future holds for you and for GKUSA Gawad Kalinga because of you, Allyson. So at this point, do you have any final message for people, your age or not, maybe not even your age, but for fellow Filipino Americans, any special message you want to impart to them?
It would definitely be, like I said before, take part in organizations and movements that you are passionate about. I think a lot of people my age, especially in the academic setting, make the mistake of just trying to fill out their resume with things that they think look good, what will impress other people. And then at that point, you're just spending your time doing things that you don't really like, understand, or feel passionate about, when you could be reallocating that time to things that are more meaningful to you. So really find service work and that you that gives you energy and like you put energy towards. So it's a more of like a symbiotic relationship rather than you just giving your time, and then you're not really receiving anything out of it. That's how you'll grow professionally. That's how you grow personally, and you'll just go a lot further that way. So really lead with your heart, and it won't leave you astray.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Yes. Get into something that gives you energy and also where you can put your energy on, right? So awesome. Thank you again, Allyson, for
Yes, of
joining us
course.
this evening. And thank you everyone for joining us for another episode of Quantum GK Next Gen. So perfect for our guest this evening. Join us again next month. I'm sorry. So we have our Quantum GK Live program on Facebook every last Thursday of the month. And we will have another special guest. That will be our area director for Washington, D.C. area, Ben Dichosa. Look forward to chatting with you, Ben. And and then we'll give you some more updates for next month. All right. Good night, everyone. Bye, Allyson. Thank you.
See you.